All right.
Well, I lost you.
Can you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Bravos Behavioral Health Clinic's group therapy. I'm your host Tom McQuaid, and I'm joined by Jess Kuhn. Is that how you spell it? Kuhn? Say it. I mean, spell it.
Yep. Yep.
Yes. How you doing today?
Good. How you doing?
I'm good. Say hello to all the people watching.
Hello, everyone.
Okay. So we're gonna ask you some questions. First, like I said, I'm going to tell everybody, I'm going to ask the same questions. I'm going to do it in a different order this time because I think it'll be better if I do it this way, learn as I go type stuff.
Sure.
Please, guys, sign up for Skype. I just want to do this. I want to hear what you guys have to say. You guys listen to my big mouth for how many shows. I wish it was more. We should have been doing this since like season 1. All right, so I'm going to start with, when did you start watching the show?
About 2 years ago, I binged. Yep, I binged the first.
So which season? What season was your first new season?
Season 7.
Okay,
yep.
So you're a late bloomer. Okay.
Yep.
Did you happen to get into the books by chance or listen to them?
I have not. I'd like to listen to them. I would like to listen to them, but I haven't read them.
Okay. Do you think Martin's going to finish the books?
I surely hope so, because I'd like to see his interpretation. Hopefully he's on it, because I know he's getting up there, in age.
Yeah. But okay. Bing, bing, bing. Okay, so now you might not know the seasons well because you went through them so fast. It's hard. I always have a hard time keeping track. So we're gonna go with the episode now. What was your favorite episode?
I think out of all of them, I think my favorite episode was probably the Battle of the Bastards episode. So whatever that was in was probably my favorite season.
I think it was season 6. I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So yeah, great episode. Really was.
It was. It was just so there, and so, I mean, you could see everything, which was one of my biggest, qualms about it.
It was the first giant big it was the first giant scene, big battle. It was the biggest. It was the first like really legit battle we had in the show.
I think it was really well done too. You felt that episode, like you felt the panic, you felt the claustrophobia, and just all of that stuff, and it gave you anxiety because you're so into it. I enjoyed that episode a lot.
Okay, so what season was your favorite?
It has to be that season, because I think surrounding that episode was just the buildup of so much stuff.
Okay.
And so, like, kind of like all of that coming to a head and meeting.
I do think it was season 6. Okay. Okay. Top 5 characters in order, 5 to 1. Go.
5 to 1, like 1 being the best?
Yeah, 1 being the best.
Okay, 5 would have to be the Stark's mom. What was her name?
Catelyn Stark.
Yeah. Yes, Catelyn Stark. And I'll go into why with just a strong character, like a good, like, kind of in her role, filled so many different cups of people, and just, I don't know, I just really liked her. I thought her character was amazing.
She really was very strong. This was a very strong, feminine-driven series of books. I mean, Cersei was the queen and pretty much controlled everything the entire series. So,
right.
And Catelyn was a very, very fierce woman.
Yeah.
So that's a good start. I like it.
And as a mom too, like, because she was, fierce and strong, but also had that like motherly side, so you could see that in there too, and I appreciated that.
Okay, number 4.
Okay, number 4 I think would have to be and I think her name Lyanna? The little.
Oh, Lyanna Mormont. Yep.
Yeah, it's Mormont. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, how could you not love her? Like, as soon as she came on, I was just like, I absolutely love this character. Like, from start to finish, her entire arc, everything about it was just fantastic.
Yeah, it was a great one.
Yeah.
Okay. And she killed she had that giant giant personality, giant balls.
Yes, she did. She had giant balls. She was fantastic.
Giant. She knew she was gonna die. She just killed a motherfucking giant.
Right, right. The confidence, her confidence from the get-go was just awesome.
Yeah, I love that. I love
that.
Gotta love that. Okay.
I know.
Number 3.
Okay, so number 3, I think is Arya.
Arya.
And kind of, I mean, I'm on this roll with like the strong feminine characters, obviously, but no, I mean, Arya was just the same. You watched her, she was just this little tiny person, you know what I mean, who didn't really seem from the get-go that she was gonna have the potential that she did, and then she just totally just blew it out of the water, you know what I mean? All the stuff she learned. And she kind of maintained that. Like, her family didn't even really know how amazing and awesome she was, and she was cool with that. She just did what she had to do.
I agree. She's in my top 5 as well. You want to say anything more about her?
No, I mean, just I think I know a lot of people love her, and I love her for all the same reasons, you know?
Number 2.
Number 2, I think, would have to be Tyrion.
Okay.
And I think just he provided a lot of, like, initially, like, some comic relief. You know, like, you're in this show and there's all this heavy stuff, and, like, so he was in that as well, but he provided that, like, witty character, you know what I mean? Which you got some laughs sometimes, provided a little bit of a break from all the heavy stuff. And clearly he was smart. I mean, look where he is in the end. He lasted that whole time, you know? I mean, so you just, you can't, you have to recognize that, you know?
And number 1, Cersei. So we'll just go ahead.
No. Okay. My number 1, I feel like it's kind of lame, but I'm just going to go with it. I think my number 1 is Jon Snow.
Oh,
and no, listen, seriously. I liked him from the beginning, and honestly, like, I didn't know if he was going to make it. Like I said, I binged the first 6, and I remember seeing before I watched the show, like, everybody was posting him in, like, puddle of blood, and he was dead, and so, like, the whole time I'm like, well, he's done, you know, I'm, like, investing in this character, he's never going to make it, and all this other stuff, you know. But ultimately, that's the character that I like the person who's, like, selfless and looking out for the people and trying to do what's right, even though he messes up.
You like betas? It's cool. I get it. I mean, you like, some girls like betas, some like alphas. You know, we all can't be alphas. You know.
Hey, look, I just appreciate who he is. I mean, I really do. And honestly, I kind of was sad that he wasn't on the throne at the end, but you know, I liked his ending as well. So.
Okay. So. We did that. Okay, so did you like this season?
Not particularly. It was my least favorite season. I mean, you know, number 1, because the show's ending. So, you know, you're going to nitpick and pull apart because it's something that you've grown to love and really enjoy. So I didn't enjoy this one as much. But I think this season 8 lacked just some depth with the characters, and again, it's the end, so you're not
end of the arc.
With that,
it is the end of the arc, you know. That's
right. So not necessarily expecting, like, new developments or things of that nature, but it felt kind of rushed to me. Like, it just felt like it was like, oh, boom, we got to end this, and and this is how we're doing it. And previously, they were so intricate with details and, like, characters, and I was hoping that.
I think a lot of that is a lack of the, you know, he didn't have anything to go by. He, you know, Martin probably just gave him a skeleton kind of timeline, like what he wanted, the direction, and didn't fill in all that stuff, and they didn't have the source material. Probably, you know. I
agree with that 100%, and that actually makes me want to read the books even more, because I can only imagine how.
You'll love the book. I know.
Yeah.
But okay, so 2 more questions. Did you like the ending?
Yes and no. Like, honestly, last night when the show was over, I sat there and I was like, well, you know, excuse me, it's satisfying in the sense that, like, I was a fan of the Starks from the beginning, so to see all the Stark kids pretty much in, like, a good place was like, oh, okay, like, you know, it's a feel-good ending.
North one.
The Bran thing was just kind of, I was hoping to be shocked, but not like in such a
Snitching
boring way,
ass
you know?
brand. Snitching ass brand. Fuck this guy.
I don't hate him. I just don't like him enough that it was just a very boring surprise. You're like, oh, I'm shocked, and it's so dull. You know, like it's Bran, okay. Whoa. I don't know.
He looks like a sneeze.
He just doesn't look like he's there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not even just like when he's not there. When he is
So,
present, he just has this look of like he's not paying attention to anything, you know? So
okay, so my buddy Dave gave some stars. So we're gonna do 4 stars. We're gonna do out of 4. Out of 4 stars, what do you give the ending of the show?
I'll say 3.
What about this last season? What do you give the last season?
I'm gonna say maybe a 2. Not a
Ooh,
1. It wasn't horrible, but I would say a 2.
so a 50%.
Yeah.
Okay. And you could go with half stars too, just so you know. So if I'll give you that option, you don't want to go like 1.5?
No, I'll stick with the 2 because like I did like the season in like I appreciate that what they were doing, but I mean you saw on that Facebook page I had a real problem with seeing that that battle episode with the White Walkers and I was pissed. I was like I want to see what's happening.
Well, you got them
So like
thick glasses. I know it's hard.
well, you know, that's part of it, but you know, if you
Um,
believe HBO, we should have been tuning our TVs, you know, with our 4K, high def, all that blah blah, you know.
well, all right. I'll say it again. It sucked me in. I watched it from closer than I ever do. I was on like as close as I can get to my TV. I did have the brightness all the way up. I did have. I mean, I could see it. I didn't have any problems, but it sucked me in. I think,
Yeah.
and that's what they're going for. Okay, so what would you change besides the brightness?
No, I don't know. I think it would have been interesting to see someone else be on the throne, maybe have a little more excitement in that whole end, but I don't know who I would choose. You know what I mean? Like I get why they did it the way they did, and it makes sense, and it's a smart start for a better future.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as like cutthroat feeling as like the rest of the show was. The rest of the show was so like slimy and behind the scenes and behind everyone's back and these like crazy twists. And you know, I enjoyed that about the show.
Okay. Now, do you want to rant? You want to say anything? I'm going to give you 3 minutes. 3 minutes is a long time. You could say as little or as least as you want. The 3 minutes starts now.
I'm not going to give a huge rant. I just want to say the reason I did not like the White Walker episode is because my favorite episode was the Battle of the Bastards. And you know, if you're a fan of like action movies and things like that, I felt so satisfied with the Battle of the Bastards episode versus the White Walkers one. I felt like it was lacking that like depth where you like felt like you were there and it was just really intense, you know. So that's
What
it.
about, do you think it was rushed? You think it was all rushed? Or you wanted
I don't think it was rushed. I mean, the episode felt really long. It just seemed like I don't know. It just you weren't like in it. You weren't like in their
I was
faces.
trying to think of the stuff you had a problem with.
I think about like in the Battle of the Bastards where you see Jon Snow's face and he's like being buried by all the people and you're like you're there. You're like this close and you're like in it with him and you feel it and you're like, "Oh my God," you know? And I feel like the White Walker episode was just from afar. Like it was like you're watching it and it was interesting, you know, and it felt like they were not going to come out at times. So it wasn't like a total dud, but I just prefer that like you're in the action, you feel like you're there in it. So it ended great. Arya was a badass in that episode, so it was good ending.
So by and large, you're good then, right? With your rant?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm good.
What do you want to see next? I
don't-
forgot the bonus question. What do you want to see next?
I don't know. I honestly I don't know. I'm open to whatever they bring, you know. Prequel would be interesting. Those are always a little hard because you know what's coming. You know what I mean? We've already watched like the middle chunk,
Well,
so
it's also it could go back hundreds of years too. So you know.
well, that's true. That's true. And I haven't read books, so I'm not as in depth with all those other characters. So, you know, it could be interesting. I do think the whole like the idea of a show with Arya and what's west of Westeros is an interesting, you know. But seems like they're at this complacent, happy spot. Like the world's going to be better. It's kind of how it ended. So I don't know. We'll just have to see.
All right. All right, Jess, it was really nice talking to you. I'm glad you did it. Tell your sister, please, both of them, to jump on. Missy's like, there's no time. Yeah, there is. What, we took 15 minutes. We could go quicker. It'll be quicker by the time I get to her, and I'll be more efficient at doing.
I'll certainly tell her. Jan may have time. Missy, it's hard because she's on Wes's schedule. So,
She can be breastfeeding for all I care. Just don't get too graphic. That's all.
I'll mention it to them. It was good talking to you, Tom.
I said I hope she does it just because I want to see Wes. To be honest, I think it'd be cool for me to hold Wes doing it. I just want to see Wes, really.
He may have an opinion because he's been watching them. So.
Oh, your sister may have an opinion. Yeah, okay.
Oh, Wes may have an opinion because he's watching them too. So
All right, thank you, Jess, for stopping, and doing it. And all right, guys, that's it. This is on behalf of Jess. I'm Tom. Your session is over.
Take care.